everybody, and welcome to another episode of Life Downloaded Live. As it is every lockdown, I am still in Casa de Edge, but as always, thankfully, for my own sanity and yours, I am joined by the amazing Samantha Renk. Say hi, Sam.
Oh, hello, my darling. How I miss you. How I
In,
miss your face.
Indeed, because we haven't seen each other in, well, since before this all started, probably a couple of weeks before this all started, because we had a gap between episodes and because we all got busy and then we all got locked in our own houses. So we haven't actually been in the same room for probably about 10, 12 weeks now, which for us sort of podcast wise and just life wise is really weird.
It is really weird. I'm actually, like, when you put it like that, it kind of is a little bit sad. I feel like, oh my goodness. I've actually changed my environment for you. I'm not up in my bedroom with a horrible, white wall. I've come down to the conservatory. Thought that was a really good idea for you all this morning. I thought, here's a tree, and a little bit of light. But first of all, it's freaking boiling. I'm roasting already, and I'm a little bit like it's really bright. So if I start going like this at everyone, I do apologise. It's just, yeah, it might look pretty, but it's really not that practical. That's the first moan of Live Downloaded.
Hey!
Because it wouldn't be an episode if I wasn't moaning about something. But we're both feeling a little bit fatigued today, aren't we? We're both feeling a bit like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the Life Downloaded adrenaline rush now, but definitely getting out of bed this morning was a challenge. And I think that happens to most people during this lockdown at some point. There are days when you're just like, what is the point of getting out of bed? And today was one of those days. But then I went, no, I've got Life Downloaded. I must get out of bed. And not only have we got Life Downloaded and it's Friday and it's lunchtime, but it's also a bank holiday. And it's the 75th anniversary of VE Day, Victory in Europe Day for World War II. So kind of a day where you should get out of bed, really, I feel. So
Yes,
I
it's
got
kind of
over
a day
that.
where you should, think, do you know what, life is good. Although we're going through quite a poop time, there's still lots to be thankful for and lots to celebrate. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm feeling a little bit ropey today. Did not sleep very well, and I am really grumpy when I don't sleep. There's only a few things that really kind of make me turning me into a devil, and that is lack of sleep. But I think my anxiety has spiked a little bit. I'm sure I've mentioned on the show before that since lockdown my anxiety has kind of been okay because my anxiety is definitely linked to going out and about, kind of physically leaving my home and interacting with other people. So now that I'm, kind of in one place, it's been all right. But I definitely think the news that the lockdown is potentially going to change this weekend. Boris Johnson is going to say that, he might lift it in some areas. I mean, I'm not going to speculate because let's face it, every day something changes. However, that kind of hit me a little bit because, like yourself, I'm shielding, and many people with disabilities are shielding, which is very different from lockdown because I don't know about you. I've not even been out for like a walk, anywhere. I've not physically left the house. Well, that's a lie. I got into my mother's car when she picked me up in London and we drove 200 miles back to Lancashire. But I'm not really classifying that as anything too exciting. That was literally a car journey. So I think I'm starting to think, okay, what does that mean for someone like me? Because everything's got to slowly get back to normal. And how long do I, in theory, have to shield? How long before my mother gets sick of me and throws me out and I've got to go back to London, because obviously she has to go back to work soon. So I think for the first time I started to think, okay, there's definitely uncertainty for me now. I think when we're all in it together, that calmed me, because we were all in it together. But now, now we're kind of like trying to go back to some sort of normality or thinking about it. I've kind of really, I don't know, it's panicked me. How about you? How have you taken the news?
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on your theory on how this is all working anyway. In terms of, for me as somebody that's semi-shielded, much like you, I haven't left the house in 6 or 7 weeks now. Much like most people, my brain's like, what day is it? How long have we been doing
No, I know.
this?
Completely merging into one.
Yeah. So, the length of time doesn't bother me, and I'm quite a homebod anyway. As much as I love going out and doing stuff, I'm quite comfortable in my house. I have a nice setup here. As long as my internet connection is live, I'm a typical boy. As long as my internet connection is live, I'm okay. I mean, obviously, I'm missing my girlfriend and all that kind of stuff, but we're still talking every day, and yeah. But yeah, in terms of coming out, I just don't know if it's the right time. And even outside of sort of disability and being disabled and shielding, I'm just not sure if it's the right time, but it's not my decision to make. I have my opinions on it and I could rant about it for hours, but it would probably make a really boring live stream / podcast. So yeah, it's a weird one. But I am somewhat worried that in sort of the lockdown scenario that deaf and disabled people are going to be left behind.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's been the narrative from day one. We were definitely in aftermath. I mean, I'm really pleasantly surprised that we seem to be embracing the elderly much more, particularly on television. We've been celebrating, kind of Colonel Tom and, which has been fantastic because they are another minority group that often gets kind of shoved to the back. We don't really care about the disabled or elderly. So I'm kind of glad that they've got a lot more kind of representation and people are trying to safeguard them a little bit more. That still doesn't mean that people with disabilities are in that same bracket. I think my main concern is at the moment I'm really enjoying the fact that I can do things on the laptop. I can do Zoom presentations. I've been able to maintain some kind of work, and I've got up until June. I've got some work coming through where they've requested, webinars or Zoom, which is fantastic.
Amazing.
Which is great. But I think there's going to come this point. It's going to come this point where everyone goes back to normal, and then people like you or I will still maybe be shielding, and will we then struggle with regards to socializing and being offered work? Because maybe then, people have gone back to normal. So they'll be like, oh, we don't need to do Zoom anymore. You can come into the office. But actually, there's going to be a whole host of us that are saying, well, actually, we would still prefer to use Zoom. So I'm just hoping that people have recognised, it's a fantastic way of being more diverse. And also, I'm pretty sure it will save a lot of companies money. I mean, I'm freelance. And sometimes when I got to go, even if I've got to go and do a guest appearance and it's for a charity or, something, even if I don't get paid for it, I will still, ask that they provide travel expenses, and that would mean getting in a black cab, and that can be quite costly. So I'm sure, if I would say, do you know what, I would actually quite like to go, to do this via Zoom. I'm a bit pessimistic at the moment. I think people are going to be so excited about going back to how we were because we can do it again, that maybe all the good work, because I think there's been a lot of good work that's come out of the way society interacts with one another and how businesses work and kind of prosper. I think it's been a lot of positives, not just for disabled people, but for people with children, for people with other commitments, people who've got 3-hour commutes every day. They could potentially work very differently. So I don't know. I'll see. And I suppose how I've been taking this whole approach is taking every day as it comes and not really thinking too far ahead. But yesterday I definitely had a dip. I definitely had that wobble where I was like, oh my goodness, this is just a lot. And also I got an email saying my sofa's going to be delivered at the end of June. I bought a new sofa before lockdown because I didn't know. And so they're going to deliver that to my house, but no one's there. So I really need to organise that. Need to get that sorted. Anyone want to come and pick up my sofa? That would be really handy. But
Yeah,
your
I'm
comments.
not going to be any good for picking up your
No, I
something,
know, I
darling.
know.
I'm not going to lie, because locked in a room. But Louise is on the comments, and she said that for her, shielding isn't fun, even though she loves being at home, and she kind of agrees with us. Maybe it's not the right time. So I do think these are concerns that are echoed throughout the deaf and disabled community, as well as the elderly community as well, I assume. But I'm not in the elderly community, so I don't want to comment for them. But I'd say that a lot of our concerns are somewhat similar. But yeah, as for your sofa, I can't help. And talking of furniture delivery, my girlfriend had a new bed delivered that was supposed to be delivered on the first day we went into lockdown. It then got cancelled. It finally arrived, and
Oh, really?
now there's some brackets missing, so she can't actually put it together. So lockdown deliveries are a thing of interest. So yeah, you might want to get somebody on looking after your sofa.
I'm sure I will. I'm sure I will. But I know it's really kind of first world problems. But there's a lot. It's crazy. All the kind of little pieces that you take for granted have now become quite obstacles and challenges. I remember being in the in the sofa shop getting really excited because I was buying a new sofa, and I was like, oh, I kind of want my new sofa now. So anyway, but at least, hey, when I do go home, ta-da, new sofa. So I'm going to be quite chuffed with that. And I have to say, for anyone who's joining us new, I know that we had quite a few new followers on Instagram and Twitter. That's fantastic. I just wanted to tell you a little bit about what Life Downloaded is. So myself and Dan have worked together, for years and years now, haven't we, on a number of different charity campaigns, and we just really gelled. We get on really well, and we're of a similar age. We are both wheelchair users, and we just thought, you know what, let's do a podcast, because we've got a lot to say. And sometimes when we do things on behalf of other people, you don't always get to voice what you want to get to voice. No. So that's where Life Downloaded kind of came from. But we're very chilled. As you can tell, we're not scripted. We kind of just literally have, word vomit where we just kind of say what goes on in our heads, which is really nice because I think it kind of is very authentic of us. But yeah, I mean, I tend to swear quite a lot, so I do apologise.
Although I am quite liking the name Word Vomit. Maybe that's the second podcast. Maybe we try and get hold of like Susie Dent from Countdown and create a Word Vomit podcast.
I just made that up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. But I just like it as a phrase.
Word Vomit. Maybe that's what today's why can't I speak? That's what today's
the title of today's podcast.
Yes, exactly. I told you I was tired. It's really not going very well for me, is it? But I wanted to kind of pick your brain about an incident I had. We have spoken previously on the lockdown editions about people getting a little bit randy, people getting a little bit horny during lockdown.
During lockdown, yeah. Because it appears when you're on your own, all you want to do is do naughty things with other people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're like children. Once you can't have it, that's all you want. So I've had quite an influx of gentlemen kind of callers sliding into my DMs.
Check you out.
Well, hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. Don't get too excited. There's no wedding bells yet, my darling.
Is there not?
No, not really.
I don't need to buy a hat, no.
Very flattering, very sweet. You know that I'm really, really rubbish at dating anyway. I'm such a hard taskmaster. I'm always very guarded when it comes to things like this. And also, I think I get a little bit cautious just because I don't like messaging things on. I'd rather have face-to-face talks. I'm not one for sending pictures or things like that. I'm quite vanilla when it comes to online dating, I suppose. That's just because I'm quite a private person. Anyway, so I've had a few, and although I try to brush them off, that is definitely not where I am right now. And also, I'm not even at home. I'm at my mum's, and I don't even know when I'm going to get out of lockdown. But one gentleman, obviously won't, say who he is, was very persistent. I kind of said, no. And he goes, oh, maybe just go for one drink. So I was like, look, well, if you're ever in London, let me know and we'll go for a drink. But then he knew about my disability, obviously. He did know about my disability. But then there was a few kind of ableist comments. And then I posted just the other day, we've got a swing in the garden. So I was on the swing and I took a video and I pointed it at my legs and I was swinging my legs.
Yes. I saw that on your Instagram. Why
not? And then he put, oh my God, I didn't know you could move your legs. So I just blocked him. Because first of all, I was like, that is just assuming that everyone who's in a wheelchair can't move their legs. Like that for me was a really quite ignorant comment.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know, it just got my back up. It probably got my back up more because I didn't particularly want to, date this person anyway. And he was just kind of pestering at me. So I probably had my defences up. But I think the question I want to ask you and people listening is, how much leeway do you give someone when they maybe haven't been around disability, or they are genuinely interested in you, really fancy you, but again, kind of can come out with some really ableist, very ignorant comments. Where is that line? Was I in the right to block him, or should I have said, that's really quite ignorant comments? If you want to date me, I think you should go and do some homework. Where do you? Because I don't want to date someone there where I have to constantly educate them, and where I feel like they're going to make comments about my disability that are actually quite hurtful. Why should it matter even if I could move my legs or not? I know there's a lot of questions there for you, Dan.
There is. You've given me a lot to go with there. Now, obviously, those of you that are watching us on Twitter, on Periscope, on YouTube, on Facebook, if you write in the comments, give us your opinions. We'll throw them in as well. That's what this is about. It's a lunchtime chat. But for me, I think it's a tough one because a lot of it is personal preference, and if you don't want to describe everything and explain everything to that person, then you're well within your rights not to. I think for me, the way you've described it, there's probably a more tactful way to ask the question, or even make a statement, or breach the conversation, I suppose. But yeah, no. This is the thing when it comes to disability. Sorry, I'm engaging my brain and sort of thinking on my feet. But when it comes to engaging disability and asking questions about it, non-disabled people, some at least, not everyone, I'm not tarring everybody with the same brush, seem to lose a filter and about what questions are appropriate and inappropriate to ask. Like, I will often, and so will you, Sam, get asked questions that were like, would you ask somebody that if it was about, do you, on average, go up for me as a man, go up to a woman and ask what her chest size is just because I'm looking at her chest? I don't. So, it's... I wouldn't do that, so why would you ask about somebody's impairment? But there seems to be this disconnect in society that asking questions about disability that can be quite personal and direct because people want to know, but they don't necessarily go, is this the right time to ask? Is this the right time to make this statement? And I'm not quite sure where that mental block comes from, or where that filter comes from, and where it slides in. But especially with online dating, those filters are even less strong, because online, whether it be Twitter, Periscope, YouTube, whatever, people's
But
filters drop away anyway.
exactly. It's more anonymous. You're not. What do they say? Hate is really difficult when you're next to a person.
Of course
Which
it is.
true. And look, you know what? I'm not. If I were to be with someone and they have genuine questions, and that happened organically,
Yes.
I'd be so blessed that they want to learn, and I'd be happy to teach them. But I think when you don't know somebody and they have invaded your kind of space, they've initiated something, and then they have made a comment that made me feel uncomfortable, and made me, I don't know, just think, oh, disability. Again, there's much more to me than disability. I could have done it two ways. I could have really interrogated him and made him feel really awful for being so ignorant, or did what I did and I blocked him. So I find it really, really difficult because it can be quite exhausting having to educate people. Like, it's fine. I do it for a living. I'm a campaigner. This is even doing this podcast. This is a form of education, but it is really, really exhausting. And I would love to have some connections in my life, some people in my life where I just don't have to do that. I mean, I suppose maybe be in a relationship with somebody who has a disability. Maybe that would limit that kind of having to spend that energy, kind of to communicate. You could just maybe just look at one another and be like, yeah,
I get it. Yeah.
So it's been a funny one, and I did actually, because I'm such a I'm so soft. I felt quite bad about blocking him, but it really, I genuinely just don't have the energy to have to babysit somebody about my life.
But this is the thing, and it's a case of there's a time and place for educating people, and if like you say, if somebody asks genuinely and it's timed right and it's tactful, you have no requirement to tell them. But if they ask nicely and it's nicely leveled, then you go, okay, fine, I'll tell you. Or if we're doing it in a professional capacity, you go, okay, fine, I'll tell you because you're paying me to do it. So there's times and places.
Because it's not because of that. It's because we love to educate people in the correct manner.
Well, there is that, because I mean, nobody pays us to do the podcast. This is entirely, and this stream, this is entirely our creation, and it's something that we wanted to do. But it's educating when we choose to do it, rather than it being demanded from us. And in the comments, the last Stoic has said, you don't owe a guy a conversation, Sam. Louise has said, your top is fab.
Oh God. Can I tell Louise a story quickly?
Go for it.
Right, so I'm trying not to spend money, so I'm going on eBay. So I got this, £7. It's Topshop. It still got the labels. So put it on today, because I need to do a photo shoot with it on later. And I swear, it took me and my mum about 20 minutes to get it in. It's so tight, so tight. I might have to cut it off. I've still left the labels on. It's a size 8, but it's more like a size 2. I can't actually breathe. I'm really sweaty. But it does look good, and it makes my boobs look quite good. Doesn't it? So yeah, carry on. Who else do we have? Thanks for that, Louise.
Aaron says he's married to someone with CP that uses a wheelchair, and there's really strange things people want to know. Trust me, Aaron, I get that completely, and I'm sure you do as well, Sam. I'm loving the fact that people are in the chat today and adding to the conversation. This is the joy. I mean, it's sad that we're not in the same room, Sam, because I love being in the same room as you when we record.
Only because you eat all my food, not because you want to see me.
No, come on, let's be fair. You always try and feed me. I go into yours, and you're like, eat this so I don't have to.
Be careful what you're saying there. That might be misconstrued. That's
true. Don't misconstrue anything I'm saying. filthy, filthy minds of you watching this
I'm
stream.
sorry, it's not even. I mean, I keep forgetting what time we're on.
Indeed.
But I mean, let's face it. If your kids are watching, then that's your problem.
Indeed. Anybody? This comes with a warning. Aaron says, for him as a non-disabled person, the weirdest question he's ever been asked is what attracts him to somebody with a disability. Now that's a whole different question. That's a whole different question, and it's really interesting for me to hear that side of it.
Definitely, because there is, I often become quite a bit paranoid that people, I can never say the word fetishize.
Fetishize, yeah.
Yeah, because I've had a few people in the past, want to sleep with me because of my size, and that always plays on my mind. But then equally, we've all got our own, things that tickle our fancy or our fanny, so to speak. We've all got our types. Mm-hmm. So why not someone who's 3'9", blonde hair, and has got cool wheels? Why can't that be a type?
Well, this is
true. Without it being, something sinister. So that is really interesting. And I mean, I've even had friends of my own say, when I've been on a date, they've automatically assumed that it's because they are into, kind of a niche. I'm like, well, not really. Like, I don't think so. I didn't get that vibe. I just think that they like my amazing personality and the fact that I'm successful and the fact that, I've got nice boobs. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I can't comment. Your boobs, from what I can see, but I don't think we've got that kind of relationship for me to pass comment on your boobs. Maybe we do. I don't know.
I don't mind. I like any comments that I can get really right now. But it is funny. Oh my goodness! I even had like a friend was telling everyone that I was paying for prostitutes because I couldn't get a date, and I pulled him up about it. I said, where on earth have you got that from? He went, I'm sure you've told me that. I was like, no. So that is his own unconscious bias about disability and the fact that disabled people aren't desirable, that everyone, I mean, if you go and get a prostitution, do it. But it doesn't mean that just because you're disabled, that's the only way that you were to be able to be intimate with somebody. And he'd fabricated this in his own head, because that's what he thought disabled people did.
Yeah, and, there is a part of our community, the disabled community, that do, and that's entirely their choice. But there is also a big part of the non-disabled community that do. It's nothing different. You're getting lots of compliments in the chat on how amazing you look, Sam. So there you go. Even though I won't pass comment on your boobs, everybody else says you look really good. So.
Oh, thank you.
So, but yeah, like.
Should I do more hair flipping?
More hair flipping.
Oh God, it's got in my eye now.
Oh, it's all gone wrong.
It's all gone wrong. Trying to be sexy and it didn't work.
There's a video there somewhere.
If anyone freeze frames this and does that with me just like with my hair in my face.
Oh.
Have we got any more questions? I'm really liking this little question time.
I'm enjoying the interactive chat today. Aaron says that he's with his partner because of the person she is, not because of the chair, and he never sort of seeked out the chair. That was never his thing, which is absolutely fair, Aaron.
But also, hey, having a girlfriend in a wheelchair means that if you get really, really drunk, you can sit on a lap, which is a win-win situation.
Yeah, and my girlfriend may say the same thing about me. I mean, not that either of us particularly drink, but I'm sure she'll sit on my lap if she feels like it.
All right, calm down now. Calm down.
Well, like you said, everybody's locked down, and it's all like, whew.
Really?
Yeah. But there you go. So yeah, like everybody's chatting today, and I like it. Chat more, everybody. We like this.
Oh, the cat is now crying. My cat's now crying.
Oh.
In on the action, my little Lola. So everyone's loving Lola at the moment. She seems to get into every video I do or anything that I do, she seems to like poke her little head in. Someone has just made a jumper with her face on it.
I saw that on your Instagram. If you're not following Sam on Instagram, Sam, what is your Instagram handle
Samantha
thing?
Renke, Renke. Yeah, so I go to it's Women in Media. It's like a networking event. I go there once a month, and one of the ladies, she knits. She knits. Now it sounds like like really not cool, but like she's like a cool knitter. Like she
A
designs.
cool knitter.
Yeah, like Dua Lipa wears her stuff.
Oh
Uh,
wow. Okay.
and her items have been on catwalk in all over like London Fashion Week, and she's appeared in like Vogue and stuff.
Ooh.
Like top knitwear, which is really cool. And she said in lockdown because she was a bit bored, she went, I want to do a little sweater for you, with Lola on it, and she's finished it, and it's absolutely amazing. Like I'm kind of blown away. But I just had this like moment of, oh my god, I really hope it fits. Can you imagine if it doesn't fit? I did like measure a jumper and send her the measurements, but there's that god awful like feeling of, oh my god, did I measure it correctly? Now I know you're probably thinking, for God's sake, Sam, measuring a jumper is easy, but no. She like sent me this like diagram of about 50 different measurements where I had to measure. So I'm a little bit concerned. So what we might have to do is, if I get it and it doesn't fit, I really hope she's not listening. If I get it and it doesn't fit, we might have to like cut it down the side so it fits to something, and like maybe, I don't know. Why am I panicking about things that haven't happened? See, this is my anxiety. See, naughty anxiety.
Yes, naughty anxiety. Anxiety is like that though. You will think about stuff that is probably a small thing in the scheme of things, but it's okay. But if it doesn't fit, we'll figure something out. But I'm sure. Trust me though, I know what you mean about like measuring for gear and stuff, because I used to have to self-measure for wrestling gear that was getting made in other places. And
how do you measure them for your package?
well, hopefully Royal Mail put enough stamps on it. No, you don't mean that one. Okay.
You know what I mean? Because if you're in a leotard, how do you make sure you don't get squished?
Well, you see, I make the very sensible decision that I generally don't wear skin tight lycra, so I'm okay. I have wider trousers and stuff because I have splints underneath my wrestling gear.
There you go.
I have wider trousers anyway, so I'm okay. But generally, there isn't really like a package measurement. You just kind of like measure your waist and stuff.
Oh, I mean, just swishing all that in there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This is why
it's
we have
bad enough when your knickers ride up. Never mind anything else.
That's it, you see. But then some guys will wear a box, so you just kind of put it in a box, and yeah.
Everyone that's listening right now, I really apologise for the fact that the quality of Life Downloaded has plummeted so dramatically in the past 20 minutes.
Indeed. We go from interviewing the amazing Daniel Melville last week. Watch it on Catch Up if you want to, about how he prints his own arm with like 3D printing, to how I store my member in wrestling gear. This is the wonder of Life Downloaded though, because
is it though, or are we just kind of making excuses for the fact that we're so not prepared? And no, do you know, I like it as well. I like this free conversation. I like it. It's all good.
But this is it. You never know what you're going to get. You never know what's going to happen. You never know what we're going to talk about. And especially now that we have the lovely people that are watching live adding into the conversation, you never know what you're going to get. But it also means that you know that everything we're saying is honest, open, legit. We're not hiding anything. We're not being fake for the camera. This is as real as it gets.
Yep. Do you know what? I've really enjoyed doing these. I say it's got to be over. I have really enjoyed doing these live sessions, and I really hope that people do get a bit more interactive over the coming weeks. And we will definitely try and get some more guests on, because I really like listening to other people, and also it makes our lives a lot easier. Actually, to be fair, I've been listening to a few other podcasts. I'm not going to say specifically which ones, but some of the really successful ones, like the host, they literally just like say one thing at the beginning and then let everyone else talk, like the guests talk, and then they go, now and again they go, yeah, and then that's it. I'm like, damn it. Like, what we do is hard work.
Yeah, we work too hard. Like, but that's because we're committed, and we just need to grow it. So if you don't already, follow Life Downloaded on all good podcasting platforms like Apple and stuff. Head to lifedownloaded.com if you want to find the supplier that's you. Aaron's asking, what do we think of the Undateables? What do you think of the Undateables, Sam?
You know what? I've never particularly liked it. I think so. I'm half and half. I've spoken to a lot of parents who, in particular, have children who may have learning disabilities, and for them, they've said that a show like that has been very much like a comfort blanket, has kind of given them, you know, I don't want to say hope, but it's kind of shown them that, you know, there is definitely more to life for their child with a disability. So part of me is like, okay, I get that you want that reassurance, because it must be very difficult, particularly if you are a first-time parent of a child who has a disability. It must be absolutely terrifying, the unknown. You know, there isn't that much support out there. However, it's at the end of the day, it's not about the parent, it's about the individual. And this is my point. Like, it's not, sorry, the cat's right. Hello.
There's Lola the cat, everybody. She has officially made an appearance.
She really did. You know, so it's not really about the parent, like, it's about that individual. And I just feel a show like that, I wouldn't personally go on it. I wouldn't judge anyone for going on it. I think I prefer shows that are a bit more inclusive. You know, you wouldn't just have a dating show only maybe for gay men, you know.
Possibly maybe to gay men's distress. Maybe they want one. I don't know.
Maybe they do. But you know what I mean? Like, why can't we just have a generic dating show?
Yeah.
So that's the only thing that I'm not keen on it. But I know that for some people it brings them comfort. They like it. I do worry that, you know, non-disabled people, what are they getting out of it? Or is it really educating, or is it somewhere to maybe mock or make fun out of people that are different to them? And I say that because I've worked in a school and I've worked with teenagers, and they have made comments about the Undateables, and they've not been very good comments. So that's where that comes from. That's not just me kind of making a random, you know, opinion. I've kind of heard people mock the Undateables. So yeah, I wouldn't personally go on it, but again, if you want to do it, do it. I'd rather see a show that's a bit more inclusive.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree with you, to be fair, Sam. I've never been a fan of the Undateables, and, you know, I even, before it aired, recorded for the first series and pulled myself out.
Didn't you?
Because I knew that it was going to be not what I wanted it to be. So for me, the Undateables is a definite no-go. But yeah, like, I've seen, you know, disabled people on first dates and stuff like that, and I'm like, that's good, because they're there with everybody else, and it's not, you know, making a spectacle of people's impairments, or, you know.
And also, I think if you have a show that, you know, says in the title, I mean, I'm not going to go on because I don't like the title anyway, but it basically tells the viewer that it is a show that will have all disabled participants. There's definitely going to be a majority of people who are ignorant. They'll go, well, I'm not effing watching that, you know, like, they won't watch it, so they won't get anything out of it. Whereas if you put disabled people into shows like Gogglebox or, you know, I'm a Celebrity, just shows that everyone, you know, a cross section of people will watch, and you put a variety of different people in there, then at least then you're going to hopefully reach an audience that may not be exposed to disability. Whereas I know that a lot of people will go, Undateables, what's that about? Oh no, I'm not going to watch that.
Yeah.
You know?
No,
So
it's true.
I think you could actually do more good and create more awareness if you just integrate everyone.
Totally. And yes, Van Gogh, this is entirely live. This is Life Downloaded Live.
What can I
And
do to show you that it's live?
they were just asking, so yes, it is 100% live.
To pick my nose? Do you want me to do that? Yeah. Ask me
Yeah,
to do something, I'll do it.
careful. You could, that could go horribly wrong. That could go horribly wrong. But this podcast stream, because it will be a podcast eventually when I edit it all up, is live. The Undateables probably isn't live. In fact, I know it's not live. Did they ever do a gay Take Me Out special? I don't know the answer to that, but I'd have watched it.
I mean, that's another show that's wrong on many levels, but let's not go into that.
Van's asking a genuine question of what happens if your wheelchair breaks down?
I get it fixed.
Yeah, get it fixed. But
I always have spare parts, so I know that there are my inner. If I have a puncture, I've always got spare inner
tubes.
Inner tubes. I know that my front casters, they're the normally problematic area, so I always have some spare casters, and I also have an electric wheelchair, so I've got my myself covered. And Dan, you are a part-time wheelchair user, so
so I can kind of get around without it. Talking of which, you've reminded me I need to buy new tyres, which is really
Amazon.
Boring. But yeah.
Amazon, super cheap.
Amazon, yeah, but I like solid tyres, and we could get into the
too heavy for me.
Yeah, see?
Where is everyone from?
Yeah, where's everybody from that's watching the Life Downloaded, as we've got a room full today? Where is everybody watching from? Sam wants to know, because she loves you all.
Oh, I thought you meant another Sam. I'm like, what?
No, you, darling.
Yeah, where are you all from? I've just got a really strong smell of burnt toast in the house. I'm just hoping that it's not like burnt. Sorry, I was just watching the cat on the floor.
Okey-doke. Well, Amy's in the Scottish Highlands.
Hello, Amy. Oh, that's very remote. Lovely.
Indeed. How remote? How high are we talking, Amy?
It is Amy, our number one fan, Amy.
It is indeed.
Amazing. So Amy just bought. I got a discount on some candles. I got gifted some lovely candles, and Amy went and bought herself some candles with my discount code.
There you go. See.
Chill out. I really hope you like them, Amy, and thanks for joining us again.
Aaron is in Wembley in London. Van is in North Carolina in the US. Why are you even... What time is it right now, Van?
Get alive. No, actually, I'll rephrase that. It's very nice to have you listening.
Indeed, but what time is it there?
I don't know. I've noticed people don't sleep. I am such a baby. I go to bed at 10 o'clock and I wake up at 7, and that is me done. And that is my routine. I need my sleep. But we had sexpert Stephanie Stevens.
We did.
And she literally, before she did the podcast with us, she had 4 hours sleep. I was like, how do these people manage?
Okay, it's 7:30 a.m, so that's not too bad. But
we take it back.
They are starting their day with Life Downloaded, which
I know. God bless you. It's probably going to go even more downhill from now on, darling. You know what? I am absolutely sweating my bits off in this top. And I've just noticed we've been talking for quite some time, considering that we didn't really have a point of action today, and we were both feeling a little bit ropey and tired. I think we've done really well, and I genuinely really liked talking to everyone.
Indeed.
That has been a really pleasant conversation. We will definitely get a guest on very, very soon. So if you are new to Life Downloaded, please, kind of add us on our social media platforms. You don't have to add us on everything, but keep in touch base with us, because then you can check out who the guests are. Because it will be really great when we have a guest that you maybe ask them a question. Because the guests that we get on are pretty great. You know what I mean? We've been really blessed. So, Life Downloaded. I'm Sam, or Samantha Rank, shall I say. And Dan, you're just Dan Edge, aren't you, on your social media?
Dan_Edge is all my social media for those of you that don't know. But yeah, follow us on Periscope, follow us on Twitter if you're not already. Subscribe to us if you're watching via YouTube. Just press all the magic buttons. That means you're gonna know what's going on with what we're doing. But yeah, we've been chatting for a good 40 minutes or so. That's generally the average length of an episode. So do you know what, guys? If you're in the UK, enjoy the rest of your bank holiday Friday. It's not often we get to say that. As much as you can during lockdown. Those of you that are watching on the rest of the world, thank you for joining us. I have been Dan Edge, and as always, I've been joined by the tremendous Samantha Rank for Life Downloaded. Yeah, I think that's about it.
Have a good day, everyone.
Have a good day.
And we will be back very, very soon. Take care.
See you soon, everybody. Thanks for joining us.